guys, I am doing a short video to replicate and go through the ab training, some of the ab deep core recruitment movements that we did yesterday in my nutrition workshop. I'm going to make it a little bit more succinct and efficient. I've got a little bit of sun in the background, so forgive the shadows. It's kind of giving me a little halo from the background. So if you're able to, do follow along so you can feel the movement as we're talking about it. I think that's really helpful to imprint it. Everyone's a little different. Some people are kinesthetic, auditory, or visual learners, so I hope all three can help you dial in and connect to the deep core muscles that we're going to talk about. So we talked about the deepest innermost layer of the 4 layers to your abdominal wall is called the transverse abdominis. It's called TVA for short, a little bit easier to say. And it is a muscle that goes from hip to hip. It looks a little bit like this. It covers about the section from about belly button down to across pubic bone. So it's a pretty broad muscle. When you push your belly out, the fibers go apart. When you fire this muscle, the fibers contract in and then they slide together to flatten out your abdominal wall, kind of compact and make your organs all sort of stay in nice and safe and sound and don't get bounced around while you're in movement. It protects and supports your low back. It creates a basis for all 3 other layers that we talked about that go over the 3 other layers of your abdominal wall that go over that innermost layer. So it's really key to fire this muscle first with every single movement that you do, whether it's picking up something light off the ground or something really heavy. And it's very common in our modern society to sort of get your wiring crossed up. And a lot of times when I teach this to people, they're not able to pull in without sort of going like, and holding their breath. So diaphragmatic breathing muscles completely separate from the core and deep abdominal muscles. So one way to just start to reset your wiring correctly is to try to draw in, and I'm sorry I'm leaning in, I just want to stay in the screen for when I back up. So what we did yesterday was we started up on our feet and we went through a little posture check that I'm going to do now, and then we'll look at how to reset your wiring if you're not able to not hold your breath. So posture starts with your feet. I'm cupping the floor with the arch of my foot. I'm purposely not in good posture right now because I want to show you what it looks like. I'll push up from the ground and send my tailbone down. This squeezing of my glutes happens with the TVA. They're partners. They're supposed to fire together and pelvic floor. So it's those 3 muscles that work in concert. And that pretty much like levels my waistband. It pretty much sets pretty decent posture. We took our middle finger and we put it on our hip points and our thumb on our rib, and we lengthen that space. So we have muscles that lengthen us and muscles that compress us. Muscles that lengthen, muscles that shorten, all through the body, flexors and extensors. The extensors of your back run up along your spine. They're massively critical for good posture. They're very autonomic muscles. They're part of what keeps our face, our eyes up so we can see the world around us, see what might be coming at us to attack us, to hunt us, whatever. It also helps us see our horizon line, and that's what helps us keep our balance. Our face and our chest always stay in the same plane. That's our physiology of movement. That's how we made it this far in life. If you can't see what's coming at you, you're going to be at risk, vulnerable. If you can't see your horizon, your body doesn't know how to right the ship. So if you're ever in doubt with any movement of where you're supposed to be looking, etc., if you feel dizzy, hurt your neck, make sure that you can, with your eyes, it doesn't have to be your whole head, that you can see your horizon and you can see what was coming at you. Your most vital organ, your heart and your lungs. So your eyes are always looking to see what might be putting those vital organs in danger. So let's go back to where we were, which was fingertips on hip, on ribs. We lift up. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and down. I'm going to create a little bit of action in my lat, my back, that's going to pull my shoulder down. So I'm not squeezing like this. I don't want you to do anything that wouldn't be natural and sustainable for a long period of time. These are high endurance muscles. It should feel natural. But it's a little bit like you stuck a file underneath your back. Your cheekbone wants to be over the collarbone and your eyes are level. So put it all together. I've got my feet cupping the floor. I push up from the ground. I have active leg. I squeeze my abs and my glutes to about a 3-4 on a scale of 0 to 10. I used to say 5, but after working with a PT and saying that for years, I've learned to understand that you can kind of over squeeze, and that promotes a little bit of getting out of alignment. So just kind of think of it as a 3-4. Your waistband's pretty level. You're going to make space between your hip and your rib points by lifting up. And then we're going to just take our shoulders, roll them back and down, my eyes and cheekbone, or my cheekbone over my collarbone. Lastly, I'm going to engage my back again, squeeze my arms so that the front edge of my arm shows. In other words, I just don't want you being kind of like this, or neither like that. It just doesn't look natural. It's not natural. So from the front, everything's the same. What you'll notice is that, I don't know if you can see it, when I squeeze my glutes, it really kind of puts my legs in alignment. If I'm relaxed, I'm going to walk closer. My knees personally will kind of bow in a little bit. When I squeeze my glutes, it rotates my thighs and I get all centered up. And that's really key for doing the next thing that we're going to do. So let's put this into action. I do this a lot in my classes. My waistband is pretty level. There's that imaginary bucket inside of my pelvis that if I don't recruit, I arch, the water pours out the bucket. If I over squeeze my glutes, my abs, pelvic floor, the bucket is now tilting backward and the water would fall out the other way. That's a often used example in Pilates. So we're squeezing right at 3-4. Every movement you do starts with tightening the TVA. So pat, 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 it really helps. I'm going to sit back and do a squat or act like I'm sitting. So I'm at a 4, I tighten to a 5 to get ready. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm at the deepest recruitment I can make. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I don't go to 0. I never let go. So I'm at a 4. I get ready. I brace to a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Just keep going. The deepest part of your bend is the deepest recruitment. And I do this a lot with my clients. I do it myself. I pat, pat, pat my abdominal wall. It really helps me connect mind and body. Don't go so fast that you don't have time to send the messaging from your brain to your abdominal wall. Particularly if you find that your natural propensity is to push out, like I'm doing right now. I see that a lot with clients, very, very common. Again, easy to retrain that bad patterning by just slowing it down and introducing a different pattern. If you find you're holding your breath, you literally just take little sips, like shh, shh, little sips of air, and soon you will retrain your diaphragmatic muscles to kick in while you're in motion. After all, you couldn't choose between doing sports and tightening your core and breathing. It wouldn't work. Again, they're separate systems, one's for breathing, one's for tightening the core. We did some abdominal vacuuming. So before I'm going to move on to that, I just want you to see, I hate showing this, but it's really helpful. So my abdominal wall, again, when I squeeze it to proper position, that's a ton of lengthening on my hip flexor here. It's like this, it goes like lengthen out, and you're probably going to feel a little tugging, a little pulling. That's a good thing. It means you're actually in your proper position. And then what I want you to do is put your hand on your belly, and then you're going to let your belly go. Some of you are really strong, you can't let it go, or you can push it out on purpose like I am. So I'm pushing it out, I'm kind of calling this the 0 because I have no abdominal recruitment. And now I'm going to pull it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At about 5, I don't see a lot of change. 6, 7, harder, 8, booty squeezing pelvic floor, 9 and 10, and then I go 10 counts, so I might be sips of air like I'm sending my tailbone down. I'm not continuing to squeeze harder because that would create a tilting backward of my pelvis, and we can't walk around, we can't do sports like that. So it's really something, for the purpose of this exercise, you're squeezing and maintaining in good posture, and then you can let it out quickly to a 0. Watch my posture, it just totally deteriorates. Then I go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, breathing 8, pat, 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 9, 10, and so on. And I call that the 10, 10, 10. You recruit into a 10, you hold it for a count of 10, and you repeat that 10 times. And if you want to, when you're starting off trying to reset your patterning, you can do it 10 times a day. Sometimes it really helps to watch yourself in a mirror so that you're not doing this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can see your shoulders. Everything should remain very comfortable and neutral. You're only working this deep lower layer across your abdominal wall. We did some abdominal vacuuming. You can do it on all fours. You can do it with hands on thighs. This has been around a long time. It's kind of perked back up on the internet. You can find loads of videos on YouTube. This is not, so what we just did is really putting ourselves in good posture and then tightening intensely. This isn't how you'd hold your abdominals, but the abdominal vacuuming is a great way to create a strong connection, recruit and strengthen the fibers that are responsible for really drawing in, flattening your abs against your organs. Again, some undigested food, maybe a little poop in there, whatever's going on. There's a lot of stuff in there that causes us to get distended, some bloating, etc. So hands on thighs. You're going to let your belly go. I'll show you from the side. I'm going to show you from the side because this is my bum arm. I can't totally straighten it. So I'm going to let my belly go. So now this is kind of my neutral, my 4-5. I'm going to let my belly go a little bit. And then I'm going to pull it up and take a big breath and really fill up my lungs. And then I'm going to... So I'm kind of keeping my breath. I'm not holding it per se because some air is slipping out. And again, I'm holding, let it go. I'm letting it go to 0. And then I'm going to inhale again. Big, big, expansive breath into your lungs. I go. And then I go, exhale. You can even really scoop out, stretch out the back, hollow it out. I'm going to relax my neck and shoulders. My shoulders are going to pull back, and it's going to really round up and under. Okay, so it's a little example of abdominal vacuuming. You can do the same thing standing, breathing in. And then exhale, I'm going to get a little pelvic tucking under, trying to scoop in, and hold and breathe. Sometimes people add some twists and turns while they're in abdominal vacuuming. As long as you feel like you're really truly scooping in, I would keep it simple and just practice the abdominal vacuuming before you add anything. Another way that we recruited was to be on all fours. And this, again, all these different methods are just a way for you to connect with one or the other that really works better for you. So again, I'm lightly recruited, but I'm really going to let my belly go. I'm back up so you can see my body against the white background. So let my belly go, and then I'm going to pull up, breathing. I'm going to just stay breathing. I'm going to draw my abs in to what would be 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a 5. Now I'm going to hover my right hand, and I'm going to tighten a little bit more to 7 maybe, because I just took the weight that was in my arm, and it has to go somewhere. It's going to go into my core. So I'm at a 6, 7. I'm going to lift my opposite leg. Now I've got the weight of my leg and my arm into my body, so I'm probably at a 7, 8. I'm going to lengthen my levers. They're going to weigh more relative to my body. So now I'm probably at an 8, 9, 9, 10. And at first you'll see yourself maybe swaying like this, hovering, maybe falling over. Eyes on the space, that's natural. I can still look up with my eyes and see my horizon. I don't have to crank my head up. I can just look with my eyes and gently lift my head. But for the purpose of this exercise, seeing the ground that you're loaded into is what's going to help you balance, as well as having that visual relative to the rest of the space around you. Your leg's going to be on. Don't let it hang there. Squeeze your glute. If you're arching your back, you're not tightening your abs. So I need you to squeeze your butt, and I bet you're going to be in pretty perfect core recruitment. So then you can add in things. You can stay here. You can pulse leg. I'm adding motion to mimic you moving in life or sports. I'm going to get myself asymmetrical now because mostly, it's, again, in sports, you're usually on one leg or you're reaching out. You're rarely that symmetrical. So maybe I just move my leg. That makes it harder. Maybe I just move my arm. And then, of course, I would want you to repeat on the other side. Go ahead and stretch in between. We are going to come down to the floor. I may have to move my screen. I'm going to try to speak loudly so you can hear me. We're going to be face down. This is just yet another way to feel your core. So we're on the floor. See if you can still see me. We're going to have our face either tucked or down or neutral. I'm lifting my head so you can hear me. And I want you to feel the sides of your abdominal wall. And you lightly put your fingers on the side. Again, you're going to feel a little bit of glute squeezing in concert with the TVA and pelvic floor, the muscles that you use to start and stop urinating. So we're going to squeeze them. We pull them up on my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might feel, hopefully you do, your abdominal, your belly being pulled up off the floor. Maybe you can even hollow out the underside of this. And you can go all the way to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, sips of air, hold it for 10 counts, and then let it go. Here's me letting it go. Then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It makes you perk up your posture. 6, 7, squeezing your glutes. 8, pelvic floor. 9, 10, and I let it go, and I do that 10 times, rounding. Okay, the last thing that we did, which is the movement that's in your slide in the presentation, is the knee-up exercise. And I'm going to show you with my body on the lighter part of the mat. So let me make sure you can see me if you can. One quick way we discovered to nearly perfectly recruit your abs is to just lift your head, neck, shoulders. So right now I can easily put my arm underneath my back. That's a natural lumbar curve. I'm going to naturally close down that space a little bit. I just don't want you to massively press unnaturally into it. Let that happen naturally. I take a breath. I inhale. I lift. I'm going to lift from the top of my spine, which is really right by my ear, just below my ear. So I'm going to lift by tucking my chin first. I take a breath to prepare. I go inhale. Then I exhale. I start to look for my belly button as soon as possible. I'm not looking up because that's not how we get up. Nobody gets out of bed like this, right? You start looking for your horizon line right away. That's how we're made. So right away, you probably are pretty perfectly recruited with your belly pulled in. Sometimes, many times actually, we, because of our lifestyle, a lot of sitting, driving, desk work, people tend to push out their belly when they lift their head because it creates intra-abdominal pressure and it helps to lift the head when in the absence of having strong muscles. So it looks a little bit like this. It's like a pushing up, a little rounding, a distending of my belly. It works, but it comes at a really great cost, and you will never, ever, ever, ever have strong abs, a strong core, or flat abs, and you will likely, for sure, have digestive issues if you've got a rounded, distended belly. So we're going to inhale. I start at the top of my spine by tucking chin, curling, lifting. Now I've pretty perfectly recruited my TVA. I'm going to pat, 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 and check myself. And I'm going to lower my head, maintaining that recruitment. And then I'm going to add some load. So the first thing we did was I lift my leg. I don't change the angle of my knee. I'm going to put my hand here as a little marker. So that first leg's easy. The second leg is a lot more challenging. It looks very simple. It's not. Our legs weigh 25, 30, 35, 40 pounds, especially men have heavier legs. So I need to brace my abs to pick up the second leg. So I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to exhale as I lift my other leg. And what I'm looking for is to not see any pooching, even if it's a split second. So we go up, up, and then I return down the way that I
came into the exercise. If I did it right, I pick up my head, neck, shoulders, I look, I come back down, keep. I go 1, get ready, exhale, and then I lower and tap. And I lower one at a time, and I return them to just above my hip. If you come in closer, you can actually let go and fall out of your abdominal. So moving your thighs away from your nose makes it harder. The next level, when you're ready, is going to be to lengthen a leg. Again, with no movement in the belly. I can put a cup of water here. So this is a lot of work. Probably the veins in my neck are popping out. It's a lot of work. It looks simple. Sometimes you need to assist. If you're like, I'm getting there pretty close, you just take some of the weight into your arm. Some people need to shim their hips. I have a kind of an arch back, so I do that. I see a lot of people doing this double leg. That is such an advanced exercise. It's extremely hard not to distend and arch your back when you're doing this. And that's going to promote a distended, stretched belly and load your back. So really prioritize a flat belly. If you do want to try both legs when you're ready, go very slowly. Really, you are connecting the low back into the mat naturally, and you exhale, take another breath, exhale. Go slow so you have time to send the messaging from your brain to the muscles that you actually want to recruit. Your body will figure out a way to execute the movement, again, by arching, by cooching, doing all this kind of stuff. You can fire off the moves, but it just won't be in a way that promotes really good patterning and then helps you hold your abs in without thinking about it in all of your other daily life, movement and activities that you love to do. So I think that is obviously one piece of the pie, but it's the most important piece. And I see that my screen looks a little crooked. Sorry about that. Remember that all 3 other layers of your abdominal wall go over that first layer. If that layer is rounding and distending out, the other layers can never quite lay down flat and come together. So you get this incomplete movement. You're doing some cross-body crunches, but your abs are only going kind of part way because they're going up and over this little hill. So it's really critical to get complete contraction to set that first layer, protects and supports your back, and it primarily keeps you stable and able to leverage off of your muscles, not your important joints and all of the vertebrae and other areas in your body that aren't meant to be loaded off of. So I hope this helps. I'm open to hearing any questions or comments that you have. And wow, thanks for watching.